Place on the Louisiana Landmark Society's annual list of the most endangered historical sites in New Orleans. It's an old police jail and patrol station on St. Philip Street, and our guests this morning are trying to save it. Liz and Raul Canache have decided to make New Orleans their home, and the jail, well, it's their life now. They want to turn it into a bed and breakfast with the help of the city officials like Councilman Gerald Brissett. So Liz and Raul, first, let's talk about how you guys came across this sort of wonderful structure.
Well, we were in town visiting our daughter at right around Christmas time, and she said, "Oh, you got to see this cool building." So we drove by, and it just stopped us in our tracks.
Wow.
We decided, we had actually been looking for a vehicle to drive around the world, and it's like it just was, this is your vehicle. You're staying right here. So we found out that the city was auctioning it, and we thought, oh, auctions are usually March, June, we'll come back. So we had actually left town, and we were an hour outside of town. We have family in Florida, and we got a phone call, no, the auction is in 4 days.
Oh, wow.
So we turned around, we came back, we saw Miss Guidry's staff aide, and we met with city council, and we met with city planning and zoning and architects and contractors all in 4 days.
Wow.
Went to the auction, and it was ours.
So it was like love at first sight. Now, when you're dealing with a historic building like this, obviously, Raul, you're going to face some challenges. So what are some of the things that you have ran into since having this building?
Well, right now is the permit, the process. The process is a long process. It takes a lot of time. But so far, the city, Mr. Brissett, has been very supportive of the entire thing.
And Mr. Brissett, I'm sorry, go.
It is quite a process. It's challenging, but it can be fun.
And dealing with historical property, obviously, there's a lot of law and rules in place. So let's talk about your role in this and how you've helped guide them through the process.
Well, it's been a great process since I got on the council in May. You know, historical buildings, you got to find out what district they're in, what historical district in, whether the state has to weigh in, the state historic preservation office. But the legislative piece is where I come in. In the city code, only 1 and 2 bedrooms are allowed to be bed and breakfast. So my office, working with the City Planning Commission, we did a text amendment. A motion to change that definition to allow bed and breakfasts to be at a form of institutional buildings, which in this case it is. And so the process is rolling. January 13th is the Canache's hearing before the City Planning Commission, where we'll see it through.
All right, and so outside of a bed and breakfast, what else, Liz, do you guys want to provide for travelers if they come through?
Well, our first heart for that building is our home. It's going to be our home. The neighborhood has become our home. I'm a former school teacher, and my heart goes out to kids. So I saw the lack of knowledge of the history of the building. I want to open the building up to the neighborhood, find out the history. There's no written history on this building.
Wow.
None. And it has some amazing positive history. You talk to the kids in the neighborhood, and it's a crack house.
Wow.
It's full of ghosts. That's not the history of this building. This building is the home of the first African-American female commander in the city.
Wow.
And that's not on the books. So we're going to put that on the books. We're going to let the neighborhood know that they have a proud heritage. I am hoping to provide after school reading club, math club, that kind of thing.
Well, that's good. And you've been all over the world, and you decided to make New Orleans home, so that's great. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. We'll go over to Rachel Thompson now just to get a check on the weather.